Clerk, at this time, I'm going to take item number 2, the public hearing. Do you call it, do you
Next,
read it in first, or?
yeah, I have to read into the record
Okay, read it
first.
into the record. and
Next
then-
item on the agenda is our second reading ordinance, is item number 2. Item number 2 for second reading, public hearing is required. And item number 2 reads, an ordinance establishing an angled parking zone on 21st Avenue between Madison Avenue and Summit Street, Department of Public Works, ordinance 19030.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's moved by Councilman Abdelaziz and second by Councilman Kalik. The public hearing is now open specifically and only for item number 2. I don't know how many speakers. I don't know if there's a big group, if there's a speaker that wants to speak on behalf of the group. So I need the person who's signing up. I don't know why they're signing up. This is, the public hearing is now open for item number 2. Good evening.
When it was first introduced for first reading. The seniors on 21st Ave received a promise from this council, from Councilman Velez and Councilman Alaziz, for them to meet with them prior to this being heard for second reading today. Well, that meeting never took place. This council made a promise until that meeting took place, you would do no further action on the project for 21st Ave. But let me also clarify one thing. I understand the issue on 21st Ave. I've lived in this town a very long time, and I understand the parking issue. But we cannot ignore our seniors in this city. I said it last time I was here, and I'm gonna say it again. When we start excusing things and ignoring our seniors, we do ourselves a disservice. There was a promise made. I want to know what happens to that promise and what happens to that meeting. Now, I thought when I came back here this time, when it went back on the agenda, that the meeting would have already taken place, some kind of agreement would have been made, but that did not happen. And those of you that voted for the first reading agreed that before you move any further on 21st Ave, that a meeting would take place first. Now, we hold you by your word. That's all we have. In this world, if your word is not good enough, then I can no longer trust anyone that gave their word. Seniors are mistreated in this city too often. And I'm very close to being senior myself. And I'm not allowing anyone to disrespect me like I'm not going to allow you to disrespect them. They were promised a meeting. They were promised that people were going to tell them what the deal was. The engineer was going to be there. And from what I understand, that was ignored. So I'm asking this council to honor your word. The meeting did not take place. The vote should not take place tonight. That's what you said. That's what you said. That's not what we said. That's what you said. Now, I know that we have this tendency to say anything to get people to shut up. But we're not shutting up. We want the meeting to take place, then the vote can take place. But give these seniors the courtesy of keeping your word. Now, when election time comes around, you'll be running to these seniors, looking for their votes. One of the most solid voting blocks in the city of Paterson are seniors. And it's time that we respect them for what they give back. Now, do we keep fooling our seniors, or do we keep our word? Do we keep our word? What happened to the meeting, Councilman Velez? What happened to the meeting, Councilman Alaziz? Those questions need to be answered before you decide to vote on anything on 21st Ave. A meeting must be conducted. Thank you.
Next speaker. Next speaker. Next speaker.
Hi, Council. I represent, my name is Bill Priestley. I represent Paterson Governor Towers, all the seniors. The reason we're here, we're scared to cross the avenue as it is. We need to know what's going to protect us from crossing, what's going to protect us with all this traffic. There's a lot of means in here. We're scared. Right now, they're scared to move. Look at how many seniors we have here. This is only partial. A lot can't make it because they're handicapped. They're all nervous because they catch buses, they catch, we have ambulances, sirens, everything that comes down that street. But the problem is, crossing the avenue there, it's very hard for these seniors. 6 people been hit in the last 4 years. 2 years ago, it was a hit and run. They hit 2 ladies, older ladies. But none of this has been reported. I don't know why. We're scared to cross that street. And we get more traffic, it's gonna get worse. We need to know what are you gonna do for us too, if this happens. How are we gonna be protected? What are you gonna do for us? I heard about bumps, I heard humps and everything else, lights and everything, but really what is in the program for us that's gonna happen? That's all I can say. We need to know, and there should be another meeting. Thank you.
Next speaker. Can you please hold your claps, please? Next speaker.
Before I'm on the clock, I want to give out some evidence here. You guys all have. That's for copies for all the council members. That's for the copies for all the council members before I start, so you could know what I'm talking about. So I'm presenting to you 518 petitions signed by residents of Paterson, 5th, 6th, all of Paterson, right here, saying that they're totally against this. That's number one. I want to thank everybody that came out, 5th, 6th Ward residents, my neighbors, my friends, to come out here. My name is Martha Alicevia. I reside at 333 20th Avenue for 42 years. I've seen stores come and go on 21st Avenue, but I've also seen permanent residents stay there loyally paying their rent and their taxes. Residents stay, businesses come and go. This is about businesses to create 45 more parking spaces for business owners to get customers. What about us, the residents? Let's put aside the safety. Madison Avenue is the main entrance to Paterson. Right off the bat, on a left-hand turn, you're gonna make it into a one-way to create parking spots for some of the stores. So the stores on that one-way path, right, consist of the Boys and Girls Club, they have parking. Banana King, they have parking. Manny's Auto Parts, they have parking. Gianella's Bakery, they have parking. Paddy Wagon has parking. TD Bank has parking. Mike Milk Plus has parking. Tony's Pharmacy has parking. Wells Fargo has parking. So you're gonna create parking for Elsa Martinez store and a Chinese restaurant and a few little stores in one little path. That's ridiculous, and you're gonna jeopardize everybody's safety. Unacceptable. I have pictures of 21st Avenue of a tractor trailer coming off of Route 80, right off of Route 80 onto Summer Street. And it made a right-hand turn to drive all the way up 21st Avenue. So what's he gonna do when he can't go up 21st Avenue? He's gonna ride on 20th Avenue and kill all my seniors, all my friends, all my neighbors. That's really sad. Just for 45 more parking spaces? Wow. Okay. So we should worry about all the liquor stores on 21st Avenue. There's more than 4 or 5 in 1 mile radius. So all those liquor, I'm on a timer, I'm sorry. All those liquor stores bring alcoholics, hanging out, passing out on 21st Avenue. And the garbage What are we worried about? All the drugs, the violence that's happening on 21st Avenue. Just the other day, June 6th, last Thursday, at 7:40, I'm in my backyard barbecuing, and I hear a noise. A van pulls up, some guys get out, and they start beating the crap out of some guy that he bled to death just about on the ground. I had to call 911. 2 cops came. You need an ambulance? Of course. I don't know if he's alive or not. So the ambulance came, they took him to the hospital. I hope and I pray that he's alive. 2 police officers came. There was no report. Nobody asked me if I saw anything. So we're worried about 45 more parking spots. What about the violence that's happening all through our city? Everybody's getting shot. All the lives that we're losing. Well, and who did this parking?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker.
Good evening, Victoria Okendo, 4th Ward, Paterson, New Jersey.
Good evening.
I'm here with respect to the second reading of the agenda of turning 21st Avenue into a one-way. First and foremost, how does one person come out of their lane?
Council President, this ordinance is for the angle parking, so for public.
Parking.
This is for angle parking, not one way.
I'll get back to you on that. 21st Avenue parking between Madison and Summer Street. Again, continuing to see agendas to accommodate passerbyers. People who will just come for what, 45 minutes? Never mind the people who are permanently in that area that you will inconvenience. How do you make a decision like that that will impact the lives of people without keeping your word? I'm watching in our city men and women be of many words, but men and women never being of that word. You continue to say rhetoric that you do not intend to fulfill. How do we expect change when there's no policy change? When there's no policy change, the only thing that change are the suits and the dresses. Before you make this decision, it's only fair. We're talking about being fair, sitting down and staring in the eyes of the people that you are going to directly impact with this decision. How often do you pass through this way? How often do you park in this area? Because a lot of the times we push agendas that will have absolutely no effect on us.
Victoria, Ming is asking for you not to speak so close because it comes out muffled.
Sorry.
It distorts the
At the end of the
message.
day, please keep your word and put this vote off until you respectfully speak with the residents that are going to be impacted by this decision. Nobody's asking for anything for you to be other than fair. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Good evening. I'm Doris Whitaker, 334 20th Ave. I'm also here again, because I was here a couple of weeks ago speaking on this very same subject. I commend the ladies that were before me. They spoke well. The less I have to say, but I concur greatly with them. I'm also not only a senior citizen, I'm a handicapped senior citizen. And I don't think it's fair that money takes over the lives of those of us, the senior citizens presented here, and myself, and others in the neighborhood who are also senior citizens. What's going to happen when we try to park our cars? Yes, most of us do have handicap parking. But with traffic is going to be in the way of us also. It's bad enough now. I mentioned that when I was here before. Fair is fair. Yes, folk do need to make money, but we also have to have safe lives also. It's not always about money. It's about respect for other folks' rights, especially the senior citizens that couldn't even come to the meeting this evening. Think about that. I don't have to repeat what I said last time, but it seems like I'm beginning to repeat myself, and it's not fair. Why don't you folks come and see how traffic is now? And I mentioned that before. See how traffic is now. what's going to happen with traffic once Main Street in there is one way? Granted, there are a few of us who have handicapped parking spaces, and most of us have driveways. What's going to happen when you try to get out your driveway or get in your driveway or get in your handicapped parking space? Think beyond what these folks want to do for themselves. Think about the seniors who pay taxes and or pay rent in the area. Thank you.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Kimmy Freeman. Ready? I have a different opinion on this, and I hope people don't get upset with me, but I'm a professional driver. I've been driving cabs and limos for 20 years. I'm very familiar with this particular area. My mother lived on Chestnut Street. I went to Boys Club for 6 years. I know some of the business people that are on 21st Ave. And before, I would say 5 years ago, you didn't have as many businesses. And let me say this, we don't have as many cars. So what I did was, like the lady just said right there, I went out there 2 hours, 1 hour, and at night. I counted every car. And according to my statistics, going one way that you propose, 500 cars per hour. Cars going up 21st Ave, 400 cars an hour. That's 900 cars per hour if you keep the two-way. Those are facts. Numbers don't lie. I feel sorry for the senior citizen lady who's having a problem with her parking there, but I think the 45 parking spaces would probably alleviate some of that parking. All right? I went to every single business there also, and only one business said no. I hear people back here, I had a little discussion back here, they're talking about State Street, Manelli's, Banana King. That's not the problem. The problem is Madison Ave, East 19th Street, Martin Street. That's where the problem is. And you have pedestrians who, I was out there 2 hours, I saw cars turning left and almost hit, I don't know, I lost count almost, because these cars are coming left, trying to get on Madison Ave, going up. We're proposing going down. And I saw many pedestrians who were at risk. Now, I have 3 senior citizens and relatives that live in the Governor Towers. I also have 3 relatives that live on State Street apartment right next to the school. I went out there too and watched the school buses and everything else. This is what I do. I don't work until the afternoon. Today I had to work this morning driving somebody, driving lemons. And I counted the buses, the cars, and stuff like that. And some of the things that some people are saying, I understand that, but let's deal with the facts. Let's deal with facts, all right? And stuff that's going to happen, that one way is going to happen on 21st Ave, will have some effect on 20th Ave. That's no doubt. But what you got right now is total chaos. And I ask anybody here who disagrees with me, and I guess everybody does, go out there and stand out there 2 hours and count the cars. Count the cars. Count the cars. And you know what? I love senior citizens too. But it's not going to affect the senior. The way you have it two-way now, I mean, 21st Ave, it's going to be chaos.
Thank you.
All right? It's chaos now. All right?
Thank you
Yeah.
very much. This will be the last speaker.
Hi, good evening. My name is Yvonne Quinones, and I'm off of 20th Street, off of 21. And I do have a bit of a problem with it going one way, especially 21st Ave. It does affect me, although that I am not within the vicinity, because I do travel 21st Ave every day, up and down. However, I do see what it is that you're trying to alleviate, but this traffic, it's mainly because of the businesses. You have too many businesses there. There's nowhere to park. So people that do come and use the eateries there are not able to park anywhere but on the street. Then you have the people that are loading trucks and unloading that are bringing goods to the stores. They have to double park. So this is where the congestion comes in. So there's got to be another way to alleviate instead of making it a one-way. I do understand also that you do have more cars on the road, granted. But then what about getting a space, one of these spaces, make a parking lot, put meters up, and do it? Hackensack does it. They did it. It works. And you alleviate all these people that are trying to get into these businesses. You know what? You get them into that parking lot, you still make your money, and everybody wins. How about that? I mean, there are other avenues. You guys got to look into other avenues instead of just making a decision without considering your residents. I've been here all my life. And you know what? I've seen the big difference. So again, that'll be entirely up to you, but you guys got to take other avenues and look at other things before making an approval. I wasn't aware of it until this weekend. I didn't know. How does it affect me? I live off of 21st Ave. Yes, it does affect me. I travel 21st Ave. I travel 20th Ave, but I travel 21st Ave more. So, I mean, I'm just one person. You got to talk to everyone within. You can't just go and base it on you guys. Come on. And an engineer, you don't need to be a rocket scientist. I do understand what the man said before me. Oh, you know what? He stood out there for 2 hours. I travel there every day. In the morning, in the middle of the day, at night. It's ridiculous. And it's all due to the businesses that are there. It's overwhelming. So, other avenues. And it's my suggestion. So I speak for my peers as well. And that's it, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay,
See no
public
one more to
portion is
close?
now- Public portion is now closed, moved by Councilman Abdelaziz, second by Councilman Kalik. Roll call to close the public hearing on item number 2.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call to close the public hearing. Item number 2, Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cotton.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Khalid.
Yes.
Councilman McCoy. Yes. Councilman Mims.
Yes.
Councilman Rivera.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Before I vote, can I make a statement or afterwards? Okay. Oh, we'll move to close. Yes.
Madam President,
Yes.
the vote is 9 in favor, none against. The public hearing is hereby closed on item number 2.
Okay. At this time, we're going to move to vote. You can make your statement as you're voting. Roll call,
Discussion,
Madam Clerk.
Yes.
discussion for a minute is because, Madam
Discussion by
President,
Councilman Velez.
the reason I'm calling it a discussion is because there was a question on the floor, one of the residents of Paterson, Ernest Rucker. And I had to clarify that question, answer that question. Yes, the council and the council president agreed to put in the agenda into a meeting take place. And yes, this meeting.
Councilman? No. I agreed to wait.
Oh, okay, all right.
The councilman of the 6th Ward had various meetings, 4 meetings. And when members came here, I agreed to wait. Okay, so we waited a month. We put this back on for the second reading, and so when I hear members say, oh, you're lying to the community, that is not true. I didn't lie to the community. We as a body did not lie to the community. Second, okay, I was specific, so we can't say we did not tell about this meeting because in that meeting a month ago, we determined that today was going to be the second reading, and it was advertised as such.
Correct.
All right.
And you're correct. And this is total different thing that you put on the floor. Regarding 4 meetings with the constituent in the 6th Ward and the School 25 or whatever they had in their ward is one thing. When this came to this chamber to discussion, we had an agreement, and the public was here, that you was gonna put it in the agenda, but a meeting had to take place with the residents of the 5th Ward and the 6th
That was
Ward.
actually something for you to do.
Correct.
Yes.
So I'm here to bring and deliver what happened since that point in the last meeting that we agreed in to meet. And that meeting that was here, it was the agreement was on May 28th that we agreed to have a meeting with the constituent of the 5th Ward and 6th Ward regarding this. May 31st, I left a message to Councilman Abdelaziz on his phone. He didn't respond back. On June 4, I had a conversation with Councilman Abdelaziz, and I advised him that I had a place neutral for the 6th and 5th Ward residents to meet with him and myself and engineering, in the engineering of Parking Authority. Mr. Abdelaziz decided to tell me over the phone that he don't need it to meet with the constituent of the 5th Ward. That is my call to meet with them. I tell him that it's not fair to meet with me myself, that the meeting was to call between the two council and the residents to explain more in detail what's going on with Tony Perez. He said he needed to meet with them. I decided to cancel the meeting and have different meeting with them over the phone, et cetera, and move on for today's meeting. I did spoke to Tony Perez regarding that meeting. Mr. Tony Perez stated that if Councilman Abdelaziz would not be in the meeting, there was no need that he rebuttal any opposition from the constituent, and
Hold
that
on.
he willing to
Councilman, I'm sorry.
move forward with.
Councilman Velez?
yeah.
You just mentioned someone that is not here, all
No,
right?
I'm telling you what transpired conversation.
No.
Council-
The reason why I'm saying that is because before this meeting, I was in a meeting with the Parking Authority Director, and specifically on this, and I actually even asked him to come. Unfortunately, because of a prior commitment, he could not be here. But he specifically said he totally supports this. It is not 45 spots, it is 60 spots, okay? And he fully supports the change of this. And this is something that has been in request for years, not something, and when I hear, constituents talk about businesses, I'm shocked even to hear that, because these businesses give jobs to our Patersonians.
Well,
These
hold
businesses
on.
pay taxes as well. And just so you know, these businesses, excuse me, I'm speaking. And these same businesses, these owners, they live on 21st Ave. I see them all here, so it's very shocking to me to hear that. But with that said, and excuse me, if someone else screams out, I'm gonna have you taken out. I gave you the respect when you were speaking. Please give us the same respect.
Council President?
Well, Council President, can I finish my thought?
Yes,
Okay,
finish your thought,
let
and
me
then I'm
finish-
gonna have
let me
Councilman
finish.
Rivera.
I respect that you had a conversation, when you say a week ago, or after?
No, today.
Oh,
I came from a meeting with him.
Okay, so today I had a meeting with Tony Perez at 1:45, and I spoke with him 8 minutes and 58 seconds. What I'm trying to say here is that every avenue that I use to get these constituents informed with Tony Perez, with the councilman, have been disregarded. Now, they're here, we are in the last hour now to prove it. I just want you to listen to them, please understand them. If I told the individuals that live in 20 Avenue and the lady that spoke, how many residents in the 6th Ward are here, and not only that, all the signatures are here, residents from the 6th Ward also, from both sides, are against this proposal. Now, if I say 5th Ward, 21st Avenue resident that are approving in favor of this, probably 6 or 7 individuals going to stand. But now I have a community that is concerned for the 5th and the 6th. And somebody told me, just for last one, leave.
Councilman, I
Somebody
need you
told
to
me-
wrap up, Councilman.
I got to wrap up. Somebody tell me, why should I get involved? Yes, whatever affects the 5th Ward, I got to get involved.
Okay, thank you very much, Councilman. Councilman Rivera? Councilman Rivera?
So, Ernie, and the minutes are made to the public. I remember my statement at that time. I suggested, I'm a council at large. I was also interested in this meeting. I attended almost every meeting that Councilman Abdelaziz held at the Boys and Girls Club, where we had all the professionals that were hired to do the study to see how it was gonna affect 21st Avenue and 20th Avenue. So it's not like this was planned without taking any regards to the effect it was gonna have on 20th Ave. I wanna make that clear. Second of all, we asked the 5th Ward Councilman to set up this meeting in which I wanted to attend. I didn't want to go over his head being a council at large and set up that meeting, and it's in the minutes. Everything I'm saying could be corroborated by the minutes, right? That meeting never took place. I was disturbed by what I heard right now. Councilman Velez just stated that he left Councilman Abdelaziz a voicemail. I've been here at almost a year. It's going to be a year, July 1st. And none of my council colleagues have asked me to attend the meeting and leave a voicemail. We either get an email or we get a text message. Now you're saying you spoke to him before you say you left a voicemail. But
Okay.
listen, I got the floor right. I got the floor
I
right now.
said I never.
No
gonna
back and
say-
forth.
Will you
I-
let me speak, please?
I
No
left-
back and
no, no,
forth.
I left a voicemail and I spoke to him.
Please, council members, no back and forth. Councilman Rivera has the floor.
So we gave it a month, Ernie, and I'm sorry I'm addressing you. It's out of respect because you quoted us on something. We gave the councilman, we told the councilman set up the meeting. Meeting never took place. And it's disturbing when you start, if I'm ever going to address the public, I could commit a mistake maybe one time, but if I don't remember for sure what took place, I will not say something took place that didn't. And myself, I thought I was acting responsibly when I attended all this meeting. We involved all this wasn't a decision just made by the council. We involved the parking authority and all the experts on the area of traffic. I'm not an expert.
engineer, city engineer.
City engineer who also attended. So listen, I'm not gonna prolong this, but when you have one of my colleagues try to make me look like I'm irresponsible by taking an action in favor of one section over the other, I take exception to that.
Ernie, there's no rebuttal.
No,
Ernie, there's no,
He mentioned my name, so I must answer
But
this.
Ernie, you were-
You're correct what you just said. You're totally correct. What I was mentioning was what was said here in this council, that the meeting would take place, they both agreed on it. They both agreed to have a joint meeting with the 21st Avenue. What the council said was, quote unquote, we will wait until the meeting is done before we vote on this on second reading.
okay.
It did not happen.
okay. All right. Okay, council members. Madam Clerk,
Council President,
can you speak when you vote? Can you please?
I'm going to go into discussion. I'd rather speak during the discussion.
Okay, Councilman
I mean,
Jackson.
I
After
have-
Councilman Jackson, Madam Clerk, I want a roll call.
I have some concerns for Councilman Velez. Mr. Rucker, and I'm not addressing you specifically so you can respond, but that's not how I recall it unfolding. In fact, the vote was tabled for
A month.
the previous regular meeting in order to give room to accommodate that meeting. I took phone calls from members of the Fifth Ward, residents of 20th Avenue. I'm the councilman of the First Ward, but I attended the meetings that took place in regard to this because I was asked to come and hear some of the specifics from the professionals. What's concerning, and the reason why I want to address this during discussion, Council President, is Councilman Velez just said that he planned the meeting, but then he canceled it. But the concerns of the public, he said, Mr. Perez said, he claimed that Mr. Perez refused to come to the meeting, so he negated to put the meeting in place. But I was under the impression the concerns was to meet with the public, not to meet with that's what he said. He just said, Mr. Perez said he wasn't going to meet with the public, so he disregarded the meeting to say there was no need to meet with the public if Mr. Perez wasn't going to come, which, because Mr. Perez isn't here, I find that hard to believe. I know Mr. Perez very well. He's willing to meet with anyone in the city that has any concerns regarding any project. Furthermore, what I would like to address is we all have to acknowledge that Paterson, right now, as Mr. Freeman indicated, we're expounding without expanding the footprint or expanding the bandwidth. We have to now look at options that's going to make better traffic control. We haven't had one option be presented by the councilman of the Fifth Ward or anyone else. We're just saying, don't do this. We're just
No
saying,
talking
don't do
out,
this.
please.
So,
Please.
so the issue is, Mr. Rucker, that the residents on 20th Avenue, the seniors, have been complaining for decades to get certain things in place. Speed humps, we have residents all over the city. Mr. Lynch comes in and complained about speed humps all the time. Miraculously, he was able to get one on Paterson Avenue. This is a measure in which we can get those items that the residents on 20th Avenue have been requesting and get it paid for by the parking authority, because obviously the city does not have the means in which to provide these things. So I'm in full agreement. The residents that live in that building do need protection. They should have the luxury of being able to safely travel across that street. So we need those crossing measures in place. We need the speed hump. We need the lighting. We need the traffic controls. How do we plan to get them if we don't have a situation like this where there's an option for it to be paid for? And that responsibility should fall on the shoulders of the councilman of the Fifth Ward to say, here is where we would like, this is what we would like to see. Not do it. We gotta do something. We have to do something. And I've asked the residents, so what is the option? What are the options? First and foremost, we've had professionals weigh in on this, do traffic studies. And they've studied the traffic on 20th Avenue as well. They studied the impact. So unless we have another option, because based on the outcries of the public, I am inclined to definitely fulfill the wishes and table it. But the councilman has put in such a great deal of work when the other councilman negated to do his job and failed to meet the needs of the residents in his ward. Explain it any other way. He had an opportunity. It was tabled for a month.
Councilman?
It was tabled for a month, and
Councilman
he failed
Jackson.
to meet those needs.
Councilman Jackson. Okay, we're good. Please, Councilman, Madam Clerk, roll call
Yes, Madam
on
President.
item number 2.
Roll call on item number 2 for second reading. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So I just want to state a few facts about this initiative. I'm not going to get involved in the he said, she said, well, I heard, this, that. That's not the way I like to do business. When I got elected and appointed onto the city council, my constituents reached out to me with their issue. 21st Ave, 20th Ave, you hear the same thing: parking, traffic, pedestrian safety. And what do I do as a council person? I go meet with my constituents and let me see how we can fix this problem. I didn't go home and pull out a drawing board and start drawing parking spaces and traffic patterns. I reached out to the parking authority. And the parking authority commissioned a study. Just like anything in the United States of America, they do studies. From Route 80 to your local roads, the traffic engineers put a study together and they give us recommendations. I had 4 meetings with my residents. Yes, predominantly 6th Ward residents, and I will admit to that. I'm the 6th Ward councilman. I had 4 meetings with my residents. Then I have a town hall open to the public in the 6th Ward. And these are facts, and I'm going to just state the facts, and I'm not going to say what he said or she said. The councilman of the 5th Ward, prior to my last town halls, knew about this plan. Now, I'm a proactive guy. That was 2 or 3 months ago. So why are we at the 11th hour? Why didn't the councilman in the 5th Ward meet with his constituents 2 or 3 months ago? He saw the plans. It involved his ward because when those plans came in, 20th Ave had enhancements. If this was only about 21st Ave, they would have never done a study on 20th Ave. So the councilman knew about this study and knew about this initiative 3 months ago. Those are facts. Secondly, we're at the point, and like I said, my constituents want things done. And when I heard their issue, I reached out to the parking authority. We could sit here today and let this go by and nothing happens. Guess what happens tomorrow? The residents on 21st Ave will call about traffic and parking. The residents on 20th Ave will still say they're getting hit by cars, and then we'll sit down and the status quo will still means we fail our residents. That's what will happen if this doesn't go through. We can sit on our hands and nothing gets done. And guess what? I'm still going to get calls from 20th Ave saying I can't cross the street. I'm still gonna get calls from 21st Ave, and we can sit on our hands, and this council can take no action at all. And exactly, no one has done nothing in 5 years, and now we have a plan. So you have a plan in place that's gonna improve pedestrian safety. Council President, we have plans in place for pedestrian safety. We gave
No speaking out loud.
we gave,
Come on, Ernie.
Madam President, we gave a month, and every council person could have met with the residents. I've met with my residents. The councilman of the 5th Ward could have met with his residents.
I did.
That's his ward. He could have reached out, had his meeting. Al Abdelaziz is not the guy that controls this. The mayor met with the president of Governor's Towers and gave him his commitment to improve the pedestrian safety. The residents have reached out to me, and I've met with them personally. I've done my due diligence. I've been open and transparent. Those are the facts, colleagues. And one last thing. The only alternative seems to do nothing. And doing nothing, I find, rarely accomplishes anything. Let's give this a try out to improve pedestrian safety on 20th Ave, because right now they have none. Without this plan, they will not get speed humps. Without this plan, they will not get the pedestrian safety. And finally, when I hear that 21st Ave is about businesses, there are more residents that live on 21st Ave than probably any other avenue along the People's Park section. Every floor, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floor, has apartments, and those are residents. I fight for my residents, and they need relief. And this plan, instead of sitting on my hands and doing nothing and letting people complain, I'm going to put action. And my vote is yes, Council President.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Cotton?
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman, yes.
I just want to make it straight that I've been here for 6 years, going on 7 years, and 21st Avenue has never come before me until the last few weeks, the last month or so.
Right.
So I want to make it clear, it did not come before us to do anything. And I just want to say that when they talked about 21st Avenue, the vote was May 14th. My understanding was, when I left that meeting, when I left our council meeting that night, that they were going to have a meeting. We put it off until June 11th, which was 4 weeks later, to make sure there was a meeting put in place for the residents that had concern. Your job here as a council person is to get along. You better work together and figure out how you got to put something together. If you need me to come in your ward, that's fine. If I have to go in your ward, that's fine. But my understanding, and let me just say, I had a meeting, and I believe you still do things the old-fashioned way. And I thank God for my husband, my daughter, my son, because I need them sometime to put out flyers. Everybody's not on Facebook. We don't have a phone system in place here that we can call all our residents that's in our ward to say, I need you to come to a meeting, I need you to show up. I had to do a one-way on Rosa Parks Boulevard. And before I did that, I said, let me contact all the residents. My husband, in the rain, with his friend, did a 16-block area and put a flyer in everybody's mailbox from Lafayette, from King Street all the way to Lion Street, from Mercer Street all the way to the railroad track. That was the only way that I could make sure that they came to the meeting to discuss what I needed to do. Once I did that, and I sent it to, my engineer sent it down, come to find out it was not right. So there's things that I think that needs to be done, and I thought that a month later, there would have been a meeting. That's all, because May 14th to June 11th, there was supposed to be a meeting with the constituents. If you got to bring both wards together, that's what it takes to bring them both together. My understanding is that the parking authority did this. 20th Ave should have been included in the study. too. If they're gonna, to me, it should have been included in there. Right now, I have a big concern, and I sent it over to my traffic study with my seniors on Rosa Parks Boulevard. Those cars are flying from Lafayette Street to 12th Avenue. They're flying. So I gotta try to make a four-way stop or something to slow that up before he gets on top of that hill. But that's with the help of the engineer, the traffic engineer. I would put flyers out. If I don't use my husband or my daughter, I use kids. You know, you have to give kids a little few dollars, you know, so they can pay their phone bill, but you have to be able to get the message out. You know, you gotta get the message out, because everybody is not on social media to be able to see all of this stuff. So I thought that it would have been a meeting by now. And I said before, and I told all my council members, you know, we're here as council people to make all of us be good council people. It's not about who is better than the other. It's about us all working together to make it the best for all. So at this point now, by them not having a meeting, which I thought would have came forward, my vote is no. Thank you.
Councilman Jackson? Councilman Jackson?
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome, sir.
There is no action taken by this council that cannot be undone. There's no action that's put in place by this council that cannot be undone. If we stand stagnant and do nothing, we will never know if this measure is going to work. Paterson must begin to start looking to do different things. You know, our city has yet to begin to progress. This is a progressive measure. It's looking to do something different to alleviate some of the traffic measures. And if the residents of 20th Avenue, after this measure is in place, find that this is something that's not working, the council can easily revisit it. You can so rechange it. The road was two-way before. It was being made into a one-way. Now it can be redone. Every action by this council, nothing is permanent. The council has the ability to revisit it and make sure that we go back if it's not working. But you must do something. You cannot sit stagnant and just expect for circumstances to change without taking certain action. Lastly, you know, Councilwoman Cotton, you're absolutely right. It is our job, our duty to make sure that we do the best job to keep our residents informed, in the loop, and take their concerns and bring them back to have some cooperative options. Right now, the councilman in the 5th Ward isn't presenting any options. He's not presenting any alternatives. He's just saying we should not be progressive and move forward. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Kalik?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We have professionals in place, from traffic engineer to city engineer.
We can't talk, Councilman, one moment. I'm gonna ask you once again, please, when a council member is speaking, we need silence. I'm gonna ask the 2 officers. You're gonna remove anyone that starts talking, please. Councilman Kalik.
This is the suggestion of the professionals. We have a professional in place that suggested that we do this for the safety of the 20th Ave and 21st Ave. Okay, this is the suggestion from the professional, and I take those suggestions greatly. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman McCoy?
Let me be very, very clear, and I've said it from the very beginning. I think it's a creative recommendation. I think it's a bold initiative. It's either going to work well or it's going to be horrible. Because of the potential impact from the beginning, this is about governance. We're not kings, we're not lords, we're council members. It's about governance, meaning that we're taking the best interests of the people in hand and giving them the solutions that they want. It was clear to me that our intention was allow some time to pass, to allow for the conversation and the meetings to be had so that we could address the concerns of 20th Avenue at the same time we're addressing the issues of 21st Avenue. Nothing in these resolutions address 20th Ave. We have made the assertion that the mayor has given his commitment to do X, Y, and Z to offset the impact. That's not here before us. I think what the residents have been asking for, and trust me, I'm not saying it's bad, I'm not saying it shouldn't happen. I'm saying the process is broken. And we should take the time to do it the right way. So at the end of this thing, when we make a decision, everybody's well informed, and we took everybody's concerns into consideration. We haven't done that. And I think no good can come out of a broken cistern, a broken process. So for that reason, my vote is no. I cannot support the resolution at this time in this format. I'll be more than willing to reconsider it, having gone through a process where the residents, those who are impacted, would have a full say in how we govern this matter.
Thank you.
So my vote is no.
Thank you. Councilman Mims?
Good evening. So one of the things I think is very important, and I think Councilman McCoy alluded to it, is the fact that we have to make sure that we always do our due diligence of doing things right the first time. We don't have to wait to do it and then say it didn't work and then we have to reverse it. We have to consider every avenue. We have to consider the residents. We have to consider the seniors, the traffic study, and then, by the way, businesses. But we also have to consider that there's 4 schools in that area, and we have to consider our children. So let me go backwards. There was a study done initially by our parking authority, which is an outside entity for the city. I made a recommendation after our meeting where it was stated that there would be a meeting between, which I recommended, and other council members as well, that the 5th and 6th Ward council members will come together and meet with the constituents, because many residents of 5th and 6th Ward came to the meeting, which you can request a copy of the tape. You will see it, and we got 200 signatures at that time to let us know that they had no idea what was about to happen. So this meeting was pushed to June 11th to allow that to happen. At this time, that meeting did not happen. That's number one. Number two, the original traffic study was only for 21st Ave. I made a recommendation to the administration, which they adhered to do a traffic study from our department where we pay an engineering consultant $1 million. I said, why do we go to an outside entity when we're paying a consultant $1 million to do the work? So after I made the request through our administration, we got the recommendations back for 20th and 21st Ave. On tonight's agenda, it still only states 21st Ave. I heard it stated that the mayor possibly had said he would do some stuff, but I don't go by what someone says. When I'm a legislator, it has to be in writing. When our residents speak about wanting to know, and I'm not saying the idea is not bad, but when our residents are begging us to allow them to listen to the plans, hear the plans. I eat on 21st Ave. I visit 21st Ave, so it's nothing against businesses. But there's some other creative ideas we could think about. There's a bank on the corner that has a huge parking lot that's locked. Have we talked to them to find out, is that a way we can work out an agreement to park? There's so many things that we could do if there was a delay to talk to our residents. So when it comes to votes, making sure that businesses are heard, residents are heard, our children are heard. We have 518 signatures before us outside of this large group that's here with signs of people that live in Governor Towers that may not be able to walk. They may be in wheelchairs. They cannot speak. We have children that are in the public and the charter schools in that area that can't come out tonight. So when we sit here, we are a voice for them, and I cannot shove down anyone's throat an idea that has not been properly vetted to our residents. Our business owners matter, our senior citizens matter, our children matter, and most importantly, the residents of this city of Paterson, they matter. And until this gets properly voted, and let me be clear, tonight is second reading. If this gets approved, right, if it gets approved tonight, 20 days after the approval, this is going into effect. So I want you to be clear. 20 days after this vote, I did not initiate this vote. I am not supporting it tonight because it was not properly vetted, and it was stated that it would be done. And because it was not done, we did not take into consideration. No one has to tell me to come to the area to visit. I'm there all the time. Many business owners, residents, you've seen me there. I'm always over there. So I'm not going against one against the other. I want to find out what would happen with our police and fire. We had a major fire on Madison Ave about 2 months ago. We had a lot of fire trucks out there, police out there, and we had families that almost lost their life. And I saw the communities of 20th and 21st Ave come together to take care of the residents that lost everything. So what happens if there's a fire? What happens if there's a police emergency? What happens if one of our children has an issue in the school, and because we felt this was great, without considering the voices of our residents, and we approve this, and a catastrophe happens? Warning always comes before destruction. The voices of the people serve as a warning. It serves as a yellow light before we go to the next step. My vote on tonight, my vote always will be in the stead of what's right for our community. My vote is absolutely no.
Councilman Rivera.
So let me just say that one of my complaints while I was running for office is that the city haven't changed in a long time. People are afraid to make changes in this city. We did the responsible thing. We met, just to correct some of the statements that were made. And the reason some of the statements are maybe made incorrectly is because the only ones that were at this meeting were Councilman Abdelaziz, Council President Davila, Councilman from the first ward. Although it doesn't affect his ward, he made his time to go. Okay, you give me the courtesy at least to speak? Mike Jackson and myself, where we had the traffic engineer for the city of Paterson. Once again, the traffic engineer from the city of Paterson. In this meeting, we discussed how this was going to affect 21st Ave and 20th Avenue. The reason that discussion took place is because they said that the traffic that usually make a left on 21st Avenue will be diverted to 20th Avenue. So all the statements that are made are not accurate. Once again, look at the minutes from the last meeting, last time we discussed this. Last time we discussed this, I said that I'm looking forward to that meeting with the constituents of the 5th Ward and these towers. But Councilman Velez, I asked him, it's on the minutes, asked him to put the meeting together so we could be there at that meeting. You don't wait for the last hour to try to set up a meeting. All that does is holding up the city's progress. Now, we passed this today, let's say. Like Councilwoman stated, it might take 20 days for it to, actually it's not gonna be 20 days. There's gonna take some time to get this done. Now, if this has a drastic effect, if the predictions, if the recommendation from the professionals are wrong, we could always put it back the way it was. It's not like we're putting a building in the middle of 21st Ave. A lot of things don't get done in this city because people just don't want to make tough decisions sometimes. I waited for this meeting to be done. Again, 4 council members attended some of these meetings. 4 council members. The mayor was there. A whole bunch of people from 20th Ave and the 6th Ward were there. So again, I gave the opportunity for the 5th Ward councilman to do this meeting so we could all, listen to 21st Avenue and 20th Avenue. And he never set that up. Someone passed a comment right now that this thing wasn't on the work, that the other council members never brought it to the floor. Let me just remind somebody. Let me just remind you all. Last time that Councilman Morris was here, in his last meeting, he actually made a recommendation to council members to learn how to count. So as a legislator, if I feel I don't have the vote to get something accomplished, you think I will bring it up here to embarrass and waste people's time? No. I would try to get support from my colleagues. If the idea is good, you will get support from your colleagues. At that time, the council member at that time could not get the support, which is now the mayor, probably not get the support. Maybe they didn't work with the parking authority back then.
Councilman, don't say that, because you weren't here and you don't know how it goes. Don't say
Okay.
things that you don't know
Okay.
anything
All right.
about.
All
That's
right,
not
so-
true.
Okay.
That is not true.
Okay.
The-
All right, so like I stated previously, I leave it at that, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
Thank
Okay,
you.
come on.
Thank you, Councilman.
We need to
Fabio.
have an order.
Point of order. If I heard his statement, he had to sit down and listen mine too, because it's not fair. It's not fair, Council President. He mentioned in his statement, so it's fair for me to clarify what he said. And it's not fair for this people, for the constituents here, that he get up and he spoke and not listen what I have to say.
Councilman, Councilman,
All right.
Councilman, we don't tell
Okay,
people to
thank
sit
you.
and
No,
get
I'm not
up
saying to
and-
sit it, that's if
All
he
right.
wants.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Go ahead, Councilman.
So, thank you, and patiently I was listening to all my colleagues in my right, and I just want to bring a little bit more facts. I'm not gonna say that I get offended when other colleagues say that I have not done the diligence work to inform my community, but yes, I did. This was all over the news. May 14, 2019, Paterson traffic plan worries senior citizen. Who was there orientating the seniors? Councilman Velez. Councilman Velez, once again, and I'm gonna say it loud and clear, made a respectful call to my colleague, Adel Aziz. The call was missed. I left a message. He didn't call back. I call him back again another day and say, I have the place, the time, a neutral place to meet with the constituent of the 5th Ward and the 6th. And to be fair, I look for a place that is not the senior building, okay, for everybody to meet in peacefully to explain the plan with engineering. He just told me that it was my constitution, that I could meet with them to make an arrangement with Tony Perez to bring him to that meeting. Finally, I called Tony Perez. Tony Perez told me that if the councilman is not available, then he cannot conduct a meeting because it was not fair for him to get the opposition and not get everybody on the table. So my constituent, I told Bill Presley that was in charge, and Martha with the seniors, okay, that they took initiative themselves to collect the signature. I did not tell them to collect signature. That was all the work from the seniors that live there and the 6th Ward. Now, they could confirm this, and my colleague confirmed this. One of my statements was to him and to my constituent that it was not fair to put the 6th and the 5th in a battle, that things could be resolved, putting this on the side, think about what we could do in other aspects, and move forward in the future. Yes, the minutes are there, and people that was here could recall this. I said, if you're gonna put 21st Avenue one way, why not put 20th Avenue one way too? Okay, that's one of the recommendations. The other recommendation I made is, why not put East 19th Street one way going to 20th Avenue, because the individual that was trying to cross to 21st Avenue and the traffic hold the traffic because they stay in the middle of the road and all the traffic backed up, okay? The other thing is, the crosswalk on 21st Avenue. The residents on 21st Avenue could know who painted the crosswalk there every corner, every year, and retouch them. Councilman Velez with the DPW direction, okay? So crosswalks are done. Traffic signals are done. The problem is here is 20 Avenue have 4 traffic lights, okay? Speed bump by state is no qualified to put a speed hump because they are too close, one light to the other. Then it's gonna be more congestion. It is congestion right now. We receive traffic from the 5th Ward resident going to 20 Avenue and from the 21st Avenue resident going to 20 Avenue. We have a big church on the corner of Martin and 20 Avenue with more than 200 cars every weekend coming out. We have 250 vehicles coming from the Governor Towers, plus the bus, plus the New Jersey Transit route that goes to 20 Avenue, plus the emergency vehicle that goes through there, okay? It's real congested right now as we speak, okay? Now, if that don't speak by itself, let me tell you something, then I'm blind. I go there, I sleep there. Meanwhile, people are sleeping, I'm driving around my ward, checking my ward, and doing the right thing. Now, when people say that I don't communicate with my constitution, I'm not gonna get offended. They are the evidence. I talk to them, I call them, and we have a good communication. And let me tell you something. 20 Avenue residents from Governor Towers are here, but also they are here from the border of the 6th Ward and the signatures that I see here, okay? The signature, I went one by one through them. And they are residents from 21st Avenue. They are residents from Lewis Street from 6th Ward, Martin Street from 6th Ward. Janellas expressed themselves that they against it. Claxon Auto Party signed the petition also that they against it. Other business are against it. We cannot be ignorant in something that is not going to work. Now, my colleagues presented more facts. They show us this plan about the crosswalk, those traffic signals that you see there. They could get installed without changing 21st Avenue one way. The responsibility of the city and the county is to maintain our roads, our crosswalk with the proper signs. They don't need 21st Avenue one way. Do it, and that's it. Put the sign that they have to put in there. Last but not least, before my vote, since the last meeting, we had 10 accidents on 20 Avenue in the intersection from East 21st up to Straight Street. Since the last meeting that we had here. New Jersey Transit goes through there. School route is through there. There's a lot of aspects I could say that 21st Avenue is going to be more congested than it is right now. So, listen, my vote is totally no.
Madam President.
So we're a body of 9. And we can agree to disagree. And today I can tell you that I respect every council member's vote. It's their vote, okay? When I go to sleep at night, I go to sleep comfortably because I feel that I've done the best that I believe I can do. Today, you know, I feel like, you know, there's been several messages given to the seniors that we don't care. And we do care. The mayor was the 6th Ward councilman for 10 years. When I came on board 5 years ago, I was approached by many 21st Ave business owners. There's a few of them in here right now. But I didn't have the support, just like the mayor did not have the support while he was here 10 years. Because we all got to know that in order for something to pass, you need 5 votes. So at the time, the mayor did not support, he did not have the support to be able to get it done. This conversation has been ongoing for years. We now have an elected councilman of the 6th Ward with a lot of energy and a lot of might, and no one can tell me that he does not care about his constituents in the 6th Ward or the city of Paterson, as he is born and raised in this city. So no one can tell me that. So today we're not gonna leave. I hope the seniors don't leave thinking they don't care. So let's talk about the things I heard about the professionals not being involved. So Councilman Abdulaziz, I'm the council president, right? He brings this up to my attention. Council President, I'd like this to move forward. I want you to come to these meetings. I'm having these meetings. He put out his notices for his constituency to come. He had 4. The meeting that I attended had the mayor in support of this, had the parking director, Tony Perez, who, by the way, before I came, I met with him. He's in support of this and paying for it. You had the city engineer, Fred Margron. You had the traffic engineer, Hung Chow. There was also another individual. I think it was the parking authority was either architect or, okay. So there were various individuals in there. I need everyone to know here, okay, and once again, something has to be done. So if I vote no, then it stays as it is. And guess what? You're still gonna have your traffic issues. You're still, and even more in the 21st Ave, right? We're not gonna have, we have 60, we're gonna have 60. Ma'am, I'm speaking right now. Thank you, have a good evening. We will have 60 additional parking spots. Now I'm gonna say this to you. Councilman, the vice president of the council, said it best. Hey, if this is something that doesn't work, we can change it. I take the recommendation of the council member of the 6th Ward, of the business owners, and also of the constituency that lives in the 6th Ward, specifically on 21st Ave. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. The vote is 5 in favor, 4 against. Item number 2 is hereby adopted on second reading.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Madam Clerk, I'll take item number 3.
Yes. Next item is item number 3 for second reading. Public hearing is required. An ordinance designating 21st Avenue between Madison Avenue and Summer Street as a one-way street westbound. Public Works Ordinance 19031.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Jeez.
Second. Moved by Councilman Abdelaziz, second by Councilman Jackson and Kalik. The public portion now is open for item number 3.
See no, move to close.
Move to close by Councilman Abdelaziz, second by Councilman Kalik. Roll call to close the public hearing on item number 3.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call to close the public hearing. Item number 3, Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cotton.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Khalid.
Yes.
Councilman McCoy. Councilman Mims. Councilman Rivera. Councilman Velez.
That's for the public portion?
Public hearing.
Or public hearing? Yes.
Madam President,
Yes.
the vote is 9 in favor, none against. The public hearing is hereby closed for item number 3.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Roll call on item number 3 for
Roll
second
call.
reading.
Roll call on item number 3 for second reading. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cotton.
Madam Clerk, everyone heard my explanation before with item number 2. My vote is no for number 3.
Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Khalid.
Yes.
Councilman McCoy. No. Councilman Mims.
Absolutely not.
Councilman Rivera.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Everybody knows my vote, so, but before I vote, Councilman stated about a meeting with 4 councilmen. If another councilman shows to that meeting, that's a quorum. So that's why, you understand what I'm saying? I think it had to be explained the right way.
No, Councilman.
So it
Go
is,
ahead.
because you're discussing in something that's going to an agenda.
Go ahead.
It is. That's what I learned, okay? So, but that's okay. Listen, before I vote, I'm gonna stick always walk with my head up. What I did is right, defend the concern of my constituent in the 5th Ward. I know that the changes will come. I pray that everything works the way that they say it's gonna work. But that request that they could come back and change it after they spend $150,000 improvement in road, it cannot be done. So you could trick somebody else, but they're not gonna trick the system. My vote is no.
Thank you. Madam President?
So just so you all know, that is incorrect. You could have 5 people. We were hearing a presentation. We were not taking any formal action. It's just like going, when we go to the Brownstone, and you have all the council members there. We're not performing any business per se. We were listening to a presentation of something that can be possible, okay? So 5, 6 council members could have been there because we were not doing any business right there, but hearing the presentation from the engineers and the mayor and the parking authority. Okay, so I'm sure there's no need to prolong this. I just want everyone to know, I don't like to be put out there as I'm a liar. I don't like that. I don't do well with that. I don't do well. Okay, so I don't like people coming here and say you're lying. Okay, that is not true. We hear, and I can say this because I didn't say it in my other statement. There's 3 council people at large. 2 councilwomen and 1 councilman. I didn't get no call to say come to a meeting. Did you get a meeting, councilwoman? Did you get a call? To join a meeting with Councilman Velez?
He said there was no meeting scheduled, so if there was nothing
No, he
scheduled, he
said-
shouldn't
no.
have called.
The point is, he was setting up a meeting with Councilman Al Abdelaziz, Councilman Rivera, so we would have been invited,
you're
and we
asking-
were not.
you're
All right,
ask-
that's okay. It was a yes or
You're
no.
asking me a question, so I'm responding.
Okay.
There was no solidified meeting, so there was no need to call. So there was no meeting set, so I didn't
Okay.
get a call.
So my point is, I didn't get a call for no meeting, okay? So, we're gonna move forward with this, Madam Clerk?
Just vote.
My vote is yes.
Thank you. The vote is 5 in favor, 4 against. Item number 3 is hereby adopted on second reading.